You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network.
Just a kid from the neighborhood. We're all kids from a neighborhood. Take me back to 96. I fall asleep with the radio on. Follow me like a firefly. At midnight in mid-July. Mixing blood and sweat and tears of joy. That's what I call the rally cry.
How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? And welcome to the first installment of the Dog Pound podcast, right here on the Armchair GM Sports Network, your September 26th, 2019 edition, your source for North American sports coverage by sports fans, for sports fans, delivered to you right here from the Niagara region. You can follow the podcast on Twitter at Armchair GM Pod, like us on Facebook at facebook.com/the Armchair GMs Network. You can listen to us live on Spreaker or on demand at Spreaker.com/the Armchair GMs, all one word, and as well as on Spotify, iTunes, and YouTube by searching the Armchair GMs Network. So wherever it's easiest and most convenient for you to listen to us on all those different platforms. And as always, I am one of your hosts of the hockey portion of the Armchair GM Sports Network, and going forward with the Dog Pound podcast. Cappy, you can follow me on Twitter at Capoots13 of the Canadian Z. And I'm always joined for the hockey coverage on the network by my co-host and co-owner of the Armchair GM Sports Network, as well as another podcast that we used to run together. He is Kyle at JustKyle51 on Twitter. Kyle, what's going on?
What's up?
Yes, so a little bit of an introduction of our newest show on the network here. So we did a show called the Niagara Hockey Lowdown, where we covered the Toronto Maple Leafs, Buffalo Sabres, Niagara Ice Dogs, and as well as Team Canada whenever they're playing Hockey Canada. But because we finally are able to announce our new news, if you follow us on Facebook, we have been approved for a media pass for the Niagara Ice Dogs 2019-2020 season. So,
woo! Big
first step for us for the network. It's a big first goal that we accomplished. So we're happy to do it. But now with this extra Ice Dog coverage that we're going to be able to give you, we're just going to go ahead and make our own, like, an Ice Dogs show on its own. Because there just might be too much to cover on some weeks, and we'll just cover the Leafs and the Sabres and Team Canada on the other show, and we'll mostly just leave that for that. Maybe if there's anything going on with the Ice Dogs, like briefly, we can touch on it. But this show is probably, most likely just gonna focus on the Ice Dogs, and that show will focus on the other stuff. But yeah, so we got the media passes. Our first game was last Thursday for the home opener against Sudbury. Great atmosphere, despite being a school night for most kids. It was still a pretty good crowd for the home opener, and they didn't disappoint. It was a great win. And yeah, Kyle. So you want to give people a little bit of what to expect on this show going forward?
I mean, I'm excited for this opportunity going forward for sure, especially with you, Brandon. Like when we started this podcast, we knew in the back of our heads that it might take us long to get where we want to be at, and with this coming so quickly and so early in our endeavor here with this sports network, it's an incredible thing, and we're so humbled by the Ice Dogs taking us in and giving us media passes and able to sit in the press box for the season, and for us to be doing this podcast. And increasing, I guess you can say the value of it. It's just awesome, and it's just a great opportunity. So, A, we want to thank the Ice Dogs for bringing us in, and then B, I'm excited to get this going and going forward. And now that we've turned this into its own podcast with the Dog Pound and giving us more of an opportunity to focus solely on the Ice Dogs for you fans out there, it's going to be an awesome opportunity. So I'm excited for starting this off. I'm excited for you fans out there to get a little bit more in depth with this podcast and getting to know the team more. So much is going to come out of this podcast, which me and Brandon now have the opportunity to do, especially stuff like we have access to the media scrums after games. So if you have a favorite player in the Ice Dogs, we might get a chance to talk to them and interview them after a game. We're going to try to stick to mostly, I think, to try to get the NHL draftees interviewed, and then maybe here and there we'll get some of the lesser known players and get to know more about them, and then you fans out there obviously get to know more about them. But I'm so excited. We got to experience our first one last week in the home opener in the press box, which was awesome. Such awesome seats, and we just treated so well. We got to meet new friend that was sitting right next to us. I guess he was he an OHL.com writer. He's really nice. I think he was around our age, so I'm expecting him to be there tonight again. It's just awesome. It's great. And last week was an awesome game to attend. It was such a good turnout, like you said. I mean, it wasn't completely sold out, but that's probably mostly due to being a school night on a Thursday night. It's really hard for some parents to get their kids to go out that late. And so I guess some parents are a little bit more stricter. But we had a good turnout. It was a pretty good crowd. The crowd was hot. There was fire. It was a busy atmosphere, I guess you can say, around the city of St. Catharines and the Marine Center, well, from what I could tell from walking to the arena. So it was a really good game. I guess we can just dive into it then. We'll talk about
go ahead.
that game.
Yep.
The one big thing was the Akil Thomas, the newly named captain, was scratched last week, still attending LA Kings training camp. So they did make the announcement in the opening player announcement. So he is our captain, but he wasn't there, so that's okay. Some people are a little bit confused by it, but it's the way it works with NHL training camp and the OHL. The OHL does begin during training camp, so you're going to get that happen a lot more, and with not even just the Ice Dogs, but a lot other teams. But like I said, it was a good crowd turnout. I thought it was good. Like, the crowd was nice and loud. Everyone looked like they were having a good time. We talked to some people there that we knew, and everyone was having a good time. So I thought it was good atmosphere, that's for sure. Like a preview before the game.
Yep. Getting into the game.
Yeah, Quinton Byfield. That's the guy we had to talk about right off the bat here.
Unbelievable. Because
God.
I mean, we talk about the Ice Dogs, but we also got to give love to the other teams in the OHL too. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We have to remain, we have to remain neutral at some point. But Quinton Byfield, he's a projected top 5, maybe even top 3 pick in next year's NHL draft. He's the star for the Sudbury Wolves, and my goodness, was he as advertised.
Yeah, and like you said, top 3 pick, but you never know these things. Clearly, stuff changes throughout the year. AKA for the Toronto Maple Leafs, Timothy Liljegren, guy was projected top 3 in the beginning of the season, fell down to whatever it was. The Leafs picked him up at 17 or 18. So you never know, but I don't think that's going to happen with this guy unless something drastically happens with him. Just from watching him up in the press box, my God, like, this guy, he's way surpassed OHL. Like, he's going to be NHL ready next year. Like, this guy is nuts. He has the size, he has the skill, the vision on the ice. He's just, it's like watching a junior B player come out to your pickup hockey. He just dances around everybody and does it with almost zero effort.
Yeah, like he's a new type of power forward prototype. Like, he's really big and physical. Like, he's hard to knock off the puck, but he's also very fast.
He brings a lot to the table, and that's a huge piece for Sudbury. I'm not sure where they are, Sudbury, in terms of building their team, but he is a key piece if they are going to try to gun for it and make some trades to get players to play with him around him, or if they need to rebuild, he's a insanely key piece. You can get a big return for him. Mm-hmm. So we'll see what happens with that. But other than that, there was a Leafs draft pick, since I am a Leaf fan here, I'll bring it up. Kalle Leponin on the Sudbury Wolves. He was back from being cut from training camp. He played in last night's game. It was really hard to keep an eye on him with Quinton Byfield out there. So, like,
yeah, because he stuck out like a sore thumb.
Literally, he did. The guy is big. He's huge. A big boy. Like, he
always had the puck.
He towers. Yeah, and he always had the puck.
Literally, when his line was out there, it was just like dominant. Like,
yeah, get the puck to Byfield. We'll set up for him.
Yep. Like, I mean, I don't know if you want to go like through the periods. Like, I just wrote down notes of like the goals and all that.
Oh yeah,
and
this was just kind of like a preview thing.
Yep.
We had they're continuing the tradition of bringing children choirs doing the national anthem. Those are always cute, I guess, but it is what it is. I mean, people might not like my opinion, but I feel like we need a really good national anthem singer. I think that kind of brings a little bit of
we need some identity,
right? It brings more hype for the game. And the kids sing, yeah, it is what it is, but like, it's just like, meh. And they sing it like 3 times as fast as any other national anthem, and they do it in French, which I know we're a bilingual country, but come on.
I mean, you're French.
I know, and I'm French, and I don't like it. It says a lot.
But yeah, our boy Rob Mahood is back for another season as the PA announcer, fantastic PA announcer, and we have the two new broadcasters in the TV side. So,
which I did listen to some highlights. They actually sound pretty good, so I'm excited for that.
Yep.
The intro video, I guess, the song for the season, which was the intro to our podcast today, "Relentless" by the Arkells. Not bad. I mean, the intro video, they kind of look like they used a couple of footage from last year. I mean, it's hard to get footage from this year because it just started, but I'm sure the playoff preview will have a footage from this year. But I thought it was all right. It was pretty good.
They didn't use New Age.
No.
Which I thought that they would.
For.
Yeah, which they usually do every time they got to rebuild. They play, Imagine Dragons. But
which did something happen last night that I totally forgot about. We were the Central Division champions last year, so we had the banner raising ceremony last Thursday for the 2018-2019 Central Division champions, which was cool. Rob Mahutter boy announced a bunch of OHL and team records that the Ice Dogs broke last year that I was even aware of. I knew they broke some records, but the list went on from Rob, man. I was like, oh my God, was last year maybe the best year we've had? Like, yeah. That was like so silent of them. Like, I know last year, like, we had a decent team and then we made all those trades to go for it. I'm like, okay, this could be a good year, but like, damn, man. I
didn't know if they were better than the team that lost to London in the East Final a few years ago. But right. Jason Robertson led the league led the Ontario Hockey League in points last year for the Ice Dogs. So, but yeah, there was about 10 or 15 records that Rob Mahood like named off, and it was like a good 2 to 3 minutes of just naming off all these records that the Ice Dogs broke last year.
As he kept going, you could hear the crowd from up in the press like going, "Oh my God, damn!"
Yeah.
But we'll get into the game. Quinn Byfield, I was shocked that he wasn't on the first line, but as soon as his line got out there, he kind of ran into a little bad luck. He had a slashing penalty literally 4 seconds into his first shift.
Yep.
So he got a penalty, and the Ice Dogs actually capitalized on him with a power play goal shortly after. I didn't write down who scored that.
I have who scored every goal, so don't worry, I'll cover that. So it was Sopa assisted by Tomasino and Hunter. So
man, Sopa looks really, really good. We'll get into that.
Yep.
Not too long after, Byfield gets back on the ice. Sweet crossfeed he gets and buries a goal. And I'm just like, oh, my God, this guy's just – he got to the net so fast. As soon as he crossed the blue line, he was already at the front of the net. Like, it literally took a split second for him to get from one end to the other.
Yep.
Like, it was a beautiful goal. Like, there's nothing the goalie could do.
Yeah, it was just an all-world player just being too good. Assisted by Hutchison and Robinson to make it 1-1.
Mm-hmm. Ice Dogs got a second power play not too long after, and goal very quickly once again.
Goal by
on the power
Oliver
play.
Castleman.
Yeah, so another well-known name in the Ice Dog getting another goal, and then
before we get into that, let me tell you Drew Hunter and Elijah Roberts recorded the assists on that goal. So Hunter with his second point already of the game.
Wow! And not too long after that, again another goal by the Ice Dogs. And that was not too long. That would have made it 3-1.
Yep, it was Uberti assisted by DeSimone and Betts.
Ooh,
it was
so
Betts'
couple of new guys.
Yep, it was Betts' first career point to go up 3. Like, this was literally like 30 seconds after the power play goal. It was the shift right after it. And Sudbury actually made a goalie change at that point.
This was sad. 3 goals on 5 shots. What a rough first game for that goalie.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't know, Sudbury for the last 2 seasons has been blessed and privileged by having Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen as their goalie. And if you do not know who he is, the Buffalo Sabres he was selected by the Buffalo Sabres in the 3rd round a few years ago, and he was the most valuable player of the entire Ontario Hockey League last year. So just goes to show you that a goalie won the MVP last year. So I think Sudbury is going to have to get used to not having a goalie, excuse me, to being their MVP. They had to restock the shelves of their goaltending, and it's kind of a transition phase for them.
One thing I noted here, which is pretty cool, is with the Ice Dogs production team, and Rob Mahood gets in on it. After some notable names score the goals, Rob Mahood will announce like whoever scored the goal, and he'll say their first name. They let the crowd yell out the last name. So like, say if it's Karen Sopa, like goal scorer by number whatever Karen, and then the whole crowd Sopa.
Yep.
So I thought that was pretty neat, man. It's cool. It gets the crowd into it, and it gives you an identity. I like when the Ice Dogs add stuff like this, man. They always have the best game day. It's great. The backup for Sudbury was pretty shaky off the start. I just noticed. a couple of offensive rushes from the Ice Dogs after there was a switch. He just looked very, very shaky. So I'm like, ooh, this could be rough. So like I said, like I put this before, I have a note here by Byfield, like insane. Like, the guy is just incredible, and this is where he set up a really nice goal for Sudbury. Literally skated around the ring, like around the whole team, went behind the net, came all the way back around, went right back to where he started, and fed a wide open guy in front of the net.
Yeah, like
for a goal.
Just to put it in perspective, he skated from around the net and then went to the left dot, kind of by the point, and then passed it to the right side of the net, right, basically in the blue paint for a guy for a tap in. Like, it was just.
He was a magician. He literally made the entire Ice Dogs team watch him go all the way around and leave the guy right open in front of the net.
Yep. It was
nuts.
There was nothing you could say, just wow. Like, even everybody that, we were sitting around was just like, wow, look at this guy. Like, it's unbelievable.
So that was a entertaining first period, that's for sure.
So Thompson scored that goal, assisted by Byfield. You might as well just give the goal and the assist to Byfield, and assisted by Robinson. That was 4-on-4 play, make it 3-2. And then 2-on-1 right at the end of the period with 3 seconds left remaining was stopped by Weeks, the goalie who came in. There was a big 2-on-1 for the Ice Dogs, and it was stopped. So
that goalie not related to veteran Kevin Weeks of the NHL.
Yes.
We confirmed that.
Yes. Before we go any further, I want to give a shout-out to the Ridge Film House, a licensed theater in the heart of beautiful Ridgeway, a truly unique movie-going experience. So, Kyle, the second period...
started off dirty.
Yeah.
I did not like this play. Ice Dogs player Jackson Doherty, behind the play, crushed a Sudbury player into the boards. Not sure why he only got 2. I was waiting to see a 5-minute penalty. It was from the replay, it looked pretty dirty. Sudbury coaching staff was not happy after they announced 2 minutes. They were losing their minds. So I don't blame them, man. That was a dirty play, not needed. But these are kids, right? We got to remember these are 16, 17, 18-year-olds, and when they're on the ice and adrenaline's rushing, you don't know. It's a heat of the moment kind of thing. So I have a couple of player notes here. Karen Sopa looks very good. Loved his game last week, and he looked really good in the away game. He's good at handling puck. What I see a lot more confidence in the kid. Like, the guy has gained a lot more confidence, I think, in the offseason, and he has that. From what I've seen, he has that confidence that he won't be scared to go into the corners and get that puck, and he's so good with the puck that's a dangerous key. If he's willing to grind his way into the corners to get that puck, and then he's that good at handling the puck, you better watch out for this kid.
Yeah, and especially, I don't know if the line's going to stay the same now that Akil Thomas is back, but Sopa, Tomasino, and Castleman looked very good in both games last week. Tomasino ended up playing center with Akil Thomas out, and he did a pretty good job. I mean, all three of them were in on most of the goals in both games, and they just looked like a really good line together. I'm not sure if the coaching staff's going to split them up when Akil Thomas comes back, because obviously he's going to need to play some top-line minutes, but that Castleman, Tomasino, and Sopa line looked very, very good.
Right. Another player note, Elijah Roberts, I was keeping an eye on him as well. He's kind of looked like he's taking the reins of quarterback for the defense, I think. He looks like he's got a little bit more maturity in his game. He still has those tendencies to go up on the rush, which, I mean, he is an offensive defenseman, so that's kind of normal. But I kind of look like he's going to be like the guy on defense that all the other defensemen are looking up to, and he's going to be basically like, the captain of the defense in a way.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then at 6:22 of the second period, Ice Dogs had a penalty shot. Tomasino was on a breakaway. He got hauled down. There was a goal scored right after that, but they waved it off and said no, it was a penalty shot. Tomasino had a penalty shot, but it ended up getting a big save by the Sudbury backup Tendy. So I was hoping for a penalty shot goal, but it was not what we got. But Tomasino, man, got to work in those shootout moves.
I mean, he was still all over the place, even though he missed it. The one thing I did write down, like you said, it was a very chippy second period. I don't know if Sudbury's coaching staff told them to go out there and play with more emotion, but they were really crashing the net. Like, they were really crashing the net on that power play they got. A lot of havoc and scrums. Like, every single stoppage, when the play was stopped by a goalie stoppage, like, there was just a bunch of guys just up in the goalie's face and just a bunch of fights and scrums. Every single time, it seemed like in the second period, there was just a ton of just after the whistle nonsense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So, yeah, that's actually what I just wrote down right after that.
Oh, perfect. You took the words right out of your mouth.
Exactly.
I'll give my next shout out to M&L Sports Cards on Drummond Road near McLeod Road, Niagara Falls, for all your sports cards and gaming card needs. So, Kyle, what do you got for the third period?
So, third period. Let's get to this thing. There's a 3-2 lead. Oh, the one thing I have written down here, the crowd interaction moment. I know, Brandon, you noticed it when I pointed it out. They did the Viking skull clap.
Yeah, I didn't know we were in Minnesota.
That was strange. I was like, okay.
Is that going to be a new thing now? Is every team going to do the skull chant now?
I think we are. I think that's going to be a thing.
Okay.
So I noticed that, and I'm like, okay, well, that's what we're doing. The Viking skull clap. But anyways, going into the third period, a 3-2 lead for the Ice Dogs. Slow start to the period for both teams. They were kind of looked like they were on their heels a little bit, both. Like there wasn't, from what we got in the third, it was a pretty unentertaining start to the third, is what I want to try to say. So around 11 minutes to go, the Ice Dogs goalie was Spiraglia.
Yep.
Or Spiraglia. Yeah, because so there's no, you can't say the B. I think it's that's what they said. It's the B that can't be said.
Spiraglia.
Spiraglia. Tough name, but he was getting some attention from the trainer about something to do with his leg. I didn't catch what happened. I don't know if he just tweaked it in a transition or whatever. But he left the ice under his own power, but did not return. And backup goalie Tynan came in. And he's coming in at 11 minutes to go in the third. So with a game close at 3-2, that's pretty tough to do.
Especially as a goalie coming in cold halfway through the third period with a 1-goal lead. That's not an easy spot for Tynan to come in there.
No. So Ice Dogs seemed kind of fired up by this, though, and it helped. Because not too long after, a beautiful tic-tac-toe goal by Tomasino, Castleman, and Sopa.
What else is new?
This was sweet. Like a 3-on-1 or 3-on-2, and then it literally was tic-tac-toe, and it was so beautifully done.
It's like they had practiced it earlier or something, like I don't know, but it was a thing of beauty, and that's why I really want them to keep this line together, but it's just going to be tough, because if that's the first line, what are you going to put Akil Thomas on the second line?
Right, and this just fired up the Dogs, because again, not too long after, another one. Goal by Andrew Bruder.
Assisted by Augustinelli and Doherty to make it 5-2.
Right.
And it was the shift right after the fourth goal. So the Ice Dogs, for the second time in the game, scored on back-to-back shifts.
So, man, if we can get this all season, this would be a good season. But we'll see what happens. That was only the first game. Eventually, Sudbury started to fight back. I could see that they had a little bit more grit in their game. Very nice deflection at one point by none other than, you guessed it, Quentin Byfield. He gets the goal to make it 5-3.
Assisted by Murray and what's this guy's name? Sorensits. He's the assistant captain. Emmett Sorensis. He is.
I'm like,
it
was
captain.
deflected. I'm like, oh, yep, it's Byfield.
Yeah, of course it is. Because you saw that guy come out on the ice. He's like, all right, we got to get back in this game. So he makes it 5-3. He's got all three of the points. He scored 2 of the goals and set up the other goal.
My God. This kid's going to be a thing of beauty. Keep an eye on him, folks. Both teams starting to amp up the pace at this point. Crowd was getting very into it, but with 1:02, literally 2 seconds away from getting the crowd their cheeseburgers.
Yeah,
if
you don't know, the Niagara Ice Dogs, if they score a goal in the last minute of the third period, everybody gets a free cheeseburger from Wendy's the next day if you bring in your ticket stub. And they even have this cheeseburger chant that the kids start doing in the last minute of the game.
On the screen too,
and it's on the
like
screen.
A little cheeseburger that's.
It's unbelievable. But anyways, so the Ice Dogs scored with 1:02 left, of course. So no cheeseburgers for you.
Yeah, but final score 6-3 for your Niagara Ice Dogs.
And it was a really, really good first game of the season. Very entertaining game. Obviously, I think Quentin Byfield was the most standout player for both teams. I don't think he really had much help. As compared to like the top line of like Castleman, Tomasino, and Sopa, like they looked unbelievable, but as a line together. But I just think Byfield was by far like the best player or most dangerous player on the ice for both teams anytime he was out there.
It's crazy. should we talk about the second game?
Yeah, I mean the next game against the Mississauga Ice Dogs was on the road. So...
Mississauga Steelheads.
Oh yeah,
actually.
Oh yeah, it's not the Mississauga Ice Dogs.
Ice Dogs were
That's
former
from yeah. That's why I got confused. The former Mississauga Ice Dogs are now the
Speaking of
Mississauga
former,
Steelheads.
2 former Ice Dogs were on the Mississauga Steelheads. Hayden Davis and Liam Ham. For you Ice Dog fans that remember those two.
Oh.
They are on the Steelheads. Ice Dogs ended up winning this game. So they're already off to a good start, 2-0, with a big 38 save performance by Tucker Tynan. So he started this game. There's no injury update yet for Sbaraglia. Spraglia, whatever his name is, that guy.
We'll get his name figured out when we talk to him.
Man. It's such an easy last name to butcher.
We'll ask him what his last name is so we don't butcher it anymore.
Yeah. There we go. That'll be an inside source for everybody. So they're off to 2-0 start. Big Tucker Tynan coming in, making a 38 save performance. Second game in a row, Ice Dogs were outshot in a winning effort. Ice Dogs won 3-1.
Yep.
Karen Sopa was the star of that game too. Again, so like we were just talking about, he opened the scoring 23 seconds into the game. And I watched the highlights for this. Like, man, he looks so good.
I mean, I was at work, so I was actually listening along on 610 CKTB. Shout outs to them, the Niagara Ice Dogs home game station and away game station. And I literally turned on the game, and all of a sudden, 23 seconds in, they said Sopa from Tomasino and Castleman. I'm like, am I watching a replay of last night? Like, this line is just on fire.
Funny goal, the second goal. Our boy Jonah DeSimone got a goal, but it was very, very crazy goal. So it was an iced puck, and DeSimone. This is where, like, you know, when the coaches tell you this to keep skating, kids. This is where it shows right here. He kept skating and kept with it. It was a miscue by the goalie. It went behind the goalie, out into the front of the net, all wide open, and DeSimone just put it in the net.
Yeah,
man.
The way they were talking on the radio was hilarious. They're like, he might as well have just put it in his own net.
It was hilarious.
It was unbelievable. Like, you couldn't have scored an easier goal.
Yeah. So apparently Tucker Tynan actually had a really stellar game. He made a really big save with his glove, which was a huge save with 6 minutes remaining in the period. So good for him to, shutting the door, making 38 saves too, man. That's huge for your first year in the OHL. So good for him, man. He looks pretty good out there. So the Dogs got a goal by Castleman to make it 3-1. Castleman found a wide open Sopa for a second of the game to make it 3-1. So, man, Sopa, man, on fire already in the beginning of this.
And Castleman with another assist.
Mm-hmm.
So that line, I don't know if Chanton was playing with them. Actually, Chanton's a defenseman, so he was, so obviously Tomasino was still on that line because our boy Giancarlo, don't call me Stanton Chanton, got the secondary assist on that. But yeah, this first line of Sopa, Castleman, and Tomasino is just, through 2 games, just looks completely dominant. And
I know the goalie talks are going into the season with obviously Steven Dillon gone. I have a note here about Tucker Tynan. He carried on where he left off for Christian Sbaraglia and the home opener. Tucker Tynan's 17 years old, by the way. We went over that in last week's episode. He apparently he has the temperament that teams look for in their last line defense. Head coach Billy Burke says nothing rattles him, and he quoted that this gave him. He gave all the credit to Tucker Tynan in the win for their season opener because coming into the game only up by 1 with 11 minutes to go in the game, you got to be strong in net. So second time in many games, Ice Dogs were outshot again on the route to victory, but 2-0 under their belt going into tonight's game, man.
Yeah, I mean, great job by Tucker Tynan, like you said, coming in late in the game and then getting that W, and then the next night coming in on the road and basically being the first star of the game for the Ice Dogs and getting that W on the road. It was a very good first week for the Ice Dogs. Can't get much better.
And actually, just yeah, okay, I already read that note.
Okay, so that's basically our week 1 recap of the Ice Dogs. So that was we went 2-0 to start the season. And speaking of game day, we're going to take our first commercial break and then come back with tonight's game day preview against Oshawa. So we'll be right back here on the Armchair GM Sports Network. Carmine's Pizzeria Italiano, serving Italian pizzas made with the freshest, top-quality ingredients. Loaded subs and our famous chicken wings, winners of the 2017 Reader's Choice Awards, and the brand new recipients of the 2019 Reader's Choice Diamond Award from Niagara this week for Best Pizza in Niagara Falls. Open daily, located on the corner of Drummond Road and Dunn Street. Available for call-ahead pickup or delivery. 905-374-4400. Debit and credit accepted for both. You've tried the rest. It's time to try us. Carmine's Pizzeria Italiano. Attention job seekers. If you're currently looking for work in the Niagara region, you owe it to yourself to check out the services provided by the Niagara Employment Help Center, located at 6100 Thoroldstone Road, Niagara Falls. Free services include resource area open to the public, resume and cover letter writing, community resource and referral information, local labor market information, job search strategies, assistance with clarifying employment training and career goals, employment counseling and job search support, second career information and registration assistance, and check out our available workshops under our events calendar on our website for more details at www.ehc.on.ca. The Niagara Employment Help Center. Marcel Dion Inc. Come in and check out our store and meet Marcel Dion himself. We have wall-to-wall NFL, MLB, and NHL licensed products and all kinds of collectibles. We specialize in autographed sports memorabilia. If you don't see what you're looking for, just ask and we'll find it for you. So next time you need a great gift idea for that sports fanatic in your life, or you need to add to your own collection, come visit us first. You won't be disappointed. 905-357-7678, Marcel Dion Inc. Chippin' Charlie's, it's where the locals go. Fun, friendly, and entertaining staff. You're not just a customer, you're family. Lots of TVs, amazing food, and always a great time. Open daily 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. Call 905-371-3428 for inquiries and reservations, located at 8189 Lundy's Lane, Niagara Falls. Chippin' Charlie's, it's where the locals go. Mid-City Motors Niagara, your premium source for pre-owned vehicles. Financing and leasing for all types of credit. Check them out at 4460 Drummond Road, Niagara Falls, or at mcmniagara.com. They are also happy to announce Mid-City Mechanic is now open. They can repair, maintain, and service all makes and models of vehicles. Conveniently located behind Mid-City Motors at Drummond Road and Perkins Street. They will be happy to help you keep your car on the road. 905-371-2277. That's Mid-City Motors and Mid-City Mechanic. You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network. Alright guys, welcome back to the second segment of the show right here on the Armchair GM Sports Network. This is our first episode of the Dog Pound Niagara Ice Dogs podcast. So in the first segment, Kyle and I had discussed the Week 1 recap for the Ice Dogs, the wins against the Sudbury Wolves and the Mississauga Steelheads. And now we're going to get into tonight, Thursday, September 26th, game day preview against the Oshawa Generals. Kyle, so take it away.
All right, so tonight our Ice Dogs return home and play the Generals, who are 1-0. Only played one game this season so far, going up against our 2-0 Ice Dogs. Ice Dogs look to continue that momentum for a third straight win tonight. Oshawa's veteran lineups is rounded out by 6 players who attended NHL training camps. The Generals don't lack veteran experience in their lineup with their forwards of Saren Knoll, Alan McShane, Brett Newman, and defensemen Nico Gross, Giovanni Velati, and Mitchell Brewer. 3 of these veteran players picked up an assist in their first win of the season. All eyes are going to be on the Ice Dogs tonight as Akil Thomas returns to the lineup after his training camp. Akil has focused on gaining confidence with his shot, leading to an outburst of 38 goals and 102 points last season. Akil has returned from a successful stint with the LA Kings training camp and is looking to make an immediate impact for tonight. Also keep an eye on Karen Sopa, who is in the top 10 for points already. Well, it's only been 2 games, but he's got 3 goals and 1 assist in 2 games played. So let's go get ready for tonight and go Dogs go, folks. It's going to be a good one with Akil Thomas, the captain, returning home.
Yep. And that was from the Niagara Ice Dogs website, courtesy of Rebecca Hogan. That was straight from the website. So good game day preview there. So Kyle, I'm not really sure what Oshawa's lineup looks like this year, but they were a pretty good team last year, and they knocked out our Ice Dogs in the second round last year. So
I remember that, and they were the ones who stopped the momentum in their tracks, and like they were good last year. They were definitely good last year. Just looking at their team right now, besides the veterans that I named, like Sarah Knoll is going to be a key guy to look up. One guy to look for, Jack Studnicka is on this team.
Ooh, so he's no longer an Ice Dog.
I think that was Jake Studnicka. I think this is a relative.
Okay, yeah, Jack Studnicka is part of the Bruins organization now.
Believe so. Let me just double check that.
Yep.
It's like, nope, I was wrong. He was a trade we made.
Okay.
We had him last year. Yep. He played 30 games for Niagara, and he played 30 games for Oshawa, so he's on the team. For some reason, I thought it was Jake Studnicka. I don't know. But Sarah Knoll, like I mentioned, him. Alan McShane's another veteran player on the team. They have an Antropov on the team. Now, I don't know if he's related to known Leaf player Nick Antropov. I'll have to find that out, but his name is Daniil Antropov. Or Daniel or Daniil. But I'm wondering how they're going to play out today. I wonder if the Ice Dogs are they're definitely a different team than we've seen in last year's playoffs with the Oshawa Generals. I don't know if they're going to be out there for revenge or it's going to be a whole new take on the game. I think it might be a whole new take on it, to be honest.
Yeah. Especially because a lot of the Ice Dog players are gone from that last year, besides 4 or 5 guys. It's basically a new team that isn't really familiar with that, or they weren't really playing that many minutes in those playoff games. Just want to clarify that Studnicka was on the Oshawa Generals before he was traded to Niagara last year, so he's still with the Bruins, and we'll get into that when we get into our alumni segment eventually. But yeah, no, I just wanted to clarify that he is no longer on the Oshawa Generals.
Okay, good. And I want to clarify too, Daniil Antropov was actually the son of Nick Antropov.
Oh man!
Yeah.
Now that is some news right there.
Yeah.
Hang on,
he's on Generals.
So we have some breaking news, guys. Nick Antropov's son. Yes, I repeat, Nick Antropov, Toronto Maple Leafs legend. His son plays in the Ontario Hockey League for the Oshawa Generals.
A legend. It doesn't have or doesn't have anybody on legend, or doesn't have his own figure. Sorry, on Legends Row.
Not yet.
Shame. Not yet, I guess.
I mean, he was the first one to score a goal in the Winnipeg Jets' new history.
I guess.
But anyways, so yeah, that's a little bit about Oshawa and tonight's game. I'm looking forward to it, obviously. I'm looking forward to any Ice Dog game that we get to go to. It's always an honor.
They do have a lot of NHL picks, the Oshawa Generals. So Anthony Solinitri is a round 6 pick of the Philadelphia Flyers. Brandon Sajon is a 2018 round 5 draft pick. Sarah Knoll is a second-round pick of the in 2018 by Florida. Jack Studnicka, we said, by the Bruins in 2017. Alan McShane is a 2018 fourth-round pick of the Montreal Canadiens. Boo. Giovanni Vellotti is a Winnipeg Jets round 5 2018 draft pick. Matt Broussard on defense is a Vancouver Canucks 2017 7th-round pick. Nicholas Mattinen is a Toronto Maple Leaf 2016 round 6 draft pick, and Nico Gross is a New York Rangers round 4 2018 draft pick. So they got a lot of NHL players, or drafted players on the team.
Yeah, I'm looking at their transactions in the last 2 weeks, or in the last week. Nico Gross, player for the New York Rangers, he was sent down to the Oshawa Generals, as well as, like you're saying, Sarah Noel. He's a highly sought-after prospect from the Florida Panthers. They just sent him down last week. So
I'm expecting some big things with the game today. We're almost 2 hours away from the game, and hoping to see Akil Thomas come back in and make an impact. Sopa to keep up that momentum, and Tucker Tynan looking like he might start the game tonight. Looking for him to also carry that momentum that he had with that big 38 save performance in his last game. And just a reminder, too, we mentioned it last week, you can now take the St. Catharines Transit to the games for free, up to 3 hours before the games and until the end of service after every Niagara Ice Dogs home game. So just a reminder to anyone looking to attend the games, it's a good free way to get to the games safely there before and after.
Yep, good way to commute. And if you want to have a few wobbly pops and don't feel like driving and you want to use public transit, go for it. And use the Niagara Transit. I see Bones has been taking advantage of it through the pictures on Facebook. But
Bones, what are we going to do with you?
Yeah, I have no idea.
But the next home games after this are actually next Thursday and Friday, October 3rd and 4th. 3rd against the Saginaw Spirit and the 4th against the Kingston Frontenacs, both at 7 p.m. Eastern games.
Back-to-back home games. Gotta love that. I'm looking forward to doing that. That'll be awesome.
I'm not sure my schedule, though. I'm be coming back from Washington, D.C. on Thursday. I'm going to try to get here in time. If I can, Brandon might already be here. I might have to meet him in the press box later on halfway through the game, but I'm going to make an attempt to get to the game next week for sure.
And if not, I mean, it's okay. We understand. I mean, it's a long corporate trip, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much the game day preview for tonight. We'll be leaving very shortly, and there might be something in the works. I don't want to announce anything yet, but we might be giving you some more coverage that's going to be more interactive for you fans out there.
Right.
And we'll just like last week where we said we couldn't update you until we knew about the media pass being official. We will update you when we have more news about maybe getting some more live coverage for you guys. But we'll take that as it comes. But I think if that's it for the preview, we're going to take our last commercial break, Kyle, if you're okay with that. Yeah. All right, so we're going to take our last commercial break and be back with the final segment of today's show of the first installment of the Doghouse podcast right here on the Armchair GM Sports Network, and we'll be right back. The Blue Line Diner is Niagara's leading breakfast restaurant. Great food, great service, and where else can you see one of the NHL's greatest players having coffee and conversation with patrons? Of course, Marcel Dion Inc. is located directly next door, and Marcel is always in and out of the restaurant, talking to the kids and the fans that walk through the doors. Open Tuesday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., and Saturday and Sunday, 8 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. 289-296-8785, the Blue Line Diner, located on Montrose Road, Niagara Falls. Simply Fit Health Club, real 24-hour access, 7 days a week. Located at 6595 Drummond Road, Niagara Falls. A clean, modern facility with top-of-the-line equipment, a friendly and non-judgmental environment, free Wi-Fi, ample parking, and more. Come in and tour their facility anytime during their office hours. 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Friday, Saturday 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., and Sunday 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Don't hesitate to stop in. No appointment necessary. They take pride in helping their members reach their health and fitness goals at their convenience and for the best possible price. For only $9.99 bi-weekly, members will get access to the state-of-the-art facility any day, anytime. What are you waiting for? At Simply Fit, there are no excuses, only results. Come see for yourself. 289-296-9535 or info at simplyfithealthclub.com. Simply Fit Health Club. Mick and Angelo's, Niagara Falls' premier sports kitchen and bar. We're all about food, friends, and fun. Catch the game with us and grab a delicious bite to eat while enjoying a cold beer. Bus trips to sporting events, live music performances, and sports pools throughout the year. Open daily 11 a.m. to midnight and 11 a.m. to 1 a.m. on Fridays and Saturdays. Mick and Angelo's, Niagara Falls' premier sports kitchen and bar. Canadian Wrestling Figure Store. Check out their website at cwf.ecwid.com for the best selection in Canada for WWE Elites, Basics, and exclusive action figures. Free Canada-wide shipping on any order over $200. Enter the code ARMCHAIR at checkout so they know that we sent you to receive 10% off your order. Once again, that's Canadian Wrestling Figure Store at cwf.ecwid.com. Attention employers! Finding the right candidate to meet your hiring needs requires more than just posting an advertisement and waiting for a suitable candidate to apply. Let the Niagara Employment Help Center save you valuable time and money by making your hiring process easier. Free job postings, fill job vacancies quickly and efficiently, access to a bank of potential employees, reduce employment costs. All candidates will be pre-screened. job trials and placement incentives, and financial assistance may be applicable to offset the cost of training. Again, this Niagara Employment Help Center, located at 6100 Thoroldstone Road, Niagara Falls. www.ehc.on.ca. You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network.
Just a kid from the neighborhood. We're all kids from a neighborhood. Take me back to 96. I fall asleep with the radio on. Follow me like a firefly. At midnight in mid-July. Mixing blood and sweat and tears of joy. That's what I call the rally cry.
All right, guys, welcome back to the final segment of our first installment of the Dog Pound podcast, right here in the Armchair. Yes, I screwed up. I said the dog house. I'm thinking of Berkey's dog house.
You're in the dog house.
I'm thinking of Berkey's dog house at the Air Canada Centre, now the Scotiabank Arena. They have that hot dog stand called the Dog House, and it used to be called Berkey's Dog House, and that's what I said. So, again, it's the first episode, so give me a break, guys. It's the Dog Pound podcast on the Armchair GM Sports Network. Welcome back to our final segment of the day. In our first two segments, we discussed the Week 1 game, the Week 1 recap for the two games that the Ice Dogs played, and then in the second segment, Kyle went over kind of a game day preview for tonight's game versus the Oshawa Generals. So our final segment is going to be kind of a revised portion of a segment that we're going to do on this show that we're going to continue to update throughout the season once it gets going. And before that, I want to give my another shout out to Beniamino Meats, premium line of meats from Niagara Sausage, 40 Ridge Road, Welland, custom curing available, #you bring the bread. So basically this segment is going to be like a where are they now / Niagara Ice Dogs alumni kind of update. So what we're going to do is we're going to do our best to look up the players that are playing overseas and try to keep up with them. But mostly this segment's going to be like whenever we do this show, kind of giving you an update of how former Ice Dog players are playing in the NHL right now. There are a few Ice Dog players currently in the NHL. Obviously, the big name is the brand new Stanley Cup champion and captain of the St. Louis Blues, Alex Pietrangelo. You've got Dougie Hamilton, part of the Carolina Hurricanes, Andrew Shaw, who is back on the team that drafted him from Niagara, the Chicago Blackhawks. Ryan Strome is now part of the New York Rangers organization. Jamie Alexiak, I believe, is part of Pittsburgh now after getting traded from Dallas. Brett Ritchie is also a draft pick of Dallas. He's on there. New as well as Alex Pietrangelo, new Stanley Cup champion Vince Dunn, who is
Vince Dunny getting a cup ring,
who has turned himself into a very good NHL defenseman. Surprisingly, because on Niagara he was a very big defensive liability, but he's been able to improve that part of his game, and he was a valuable piece for the Blues blue line going into their run last season. And other players notable: Darren Archibald, formerly of the Vancouver Canucks, and Joshua Hosang, who's struggling to get up with a full-time spot with the New York Islanders.
His attitude's got to be checked at the door, man. His attitude's getting him in some hot water. It's not, and especially now at Lose here, man, he's not going to take anything. So that's definitely got to change with him.
And he's a high draft pick as well, and a high OHL priority draft pick as well. Andrew Agazzino, I believe, is still playing in the NHL as well, or he's a part of an NHL organization. He played 11 games for Colorado last season. So
he's had a rough career to get up and going, man. It's just, it's not all for just because you play in the OHL doesn't mean you're going to be a big star in the NHL. It's some guys have a ceiling, and just being drafted and playing a few games in the NHL sometimes are certain guys' ceilings. So we'll see if he's probably mostly going to be playing with the Colorado Eagles this year in the American Hockey League, but maybe he'll get a few games with Colorado. Maybe he could luck into a spot with Rantanen, McKinnon. You never know, but oh god,
that would be unbelievable for him. But. And lastly, Alex Nedeljkovic, the goalie, #MakeHimSeeNed. Remember that going on during the playoffs?
It was because the playoff motto was "Make him see red" because we scored so many goals that year, and he started going "Make him see Ned," the goalie.
Yep. Last shout out here to Dixon Accounting and Tax Services, 905-374-1503 or dixonaccounting.com. So Alex Nedeljkovic is a part of the Carolina Hurricanes organization. He was playing for the Charlotte Checkers last year for their American Hockey League affiliate. Not sure if he's going to get a chance to play this year for Carolina. I know that they have Peter Mrazek, and they lost Grandpa Curtis McElhaney to Tampa Bay. So he might get a shot for the backup job. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I'll have to see.
But
hopefully.
I think
goalies are tough. Goalies are very, very tough to progress in the NHL. They take longer than any other player in any other position.
And again, he's still only 23 years old, and we've seen in the NHL, like you just said, goalies don't usually hit their stride to sometimes 25, 26 years old is when sometimes these goalies blossom into NHL caliber goalies. It's just the way that the goaltending position is. Guys aren't coming in very rare at 18 years old or 19 years old and playing. So give him some time, maybe with the Checkers again this year, and we'll see if Nedeljkovic can turn himself into, the NHL or the Chell 20 term fringe starter or backup in the NHL. We'll have to see. Or maybe
starter.
Or maybe he ends up becoming the starter for the Hurricanes. You never know. But right now it looks like it's Peter Mrazek's job right now. But Nedeljkovic, we'll see. We'll see what happens going forward for him, but he's definitely got the potential and the talent. He's a little bit smaller of a goalie. I mean, he's only 6 foot, which again, NHL goalies, they love having their big goalies. GM, so that might be a knock on him. But I think he's got a chance to at least be a backup for the Hurricanes for sure.
Oh yeah, and they have some goalie situations that got to be figured out. So. The door is open for him to make an impact for sure. So I haven't been keeping up with their training camp. Hopefully it's been going good for him.
Yeah. So those are the players that will be kind of, following throughout the season, the former Ice Dog players that we'll be keeping up on. I guess we'll try to take a look at some other players that are, like I said at the beginning of the segment, playing overseas or somewhere. We'll try to keep you updated on that. It's just a little bit tough with the databases and things like that. But the guys in the NHL will for sure give you updates on the show whenever we can get them of how they're playing and how the season's going for our Niagara Ice Dog alumni boys. Once an Ice Dog, always an Ice Dog. So especially for me, I always love keeping up with the Ice Dog players. I loved having Alex Pietrangelo hoist the cup last year as the former captain of the Ice Dogs and now as the captain of the St. Louis Blues. I actually have an 8x10 of Pietrangelo holding the cup, printed out and hanging up on my wall with an Ice Dog card in the bottom corner of it. So,
oh wow.
Yep. So
that's cool.
Yep. Gotta love those Ice Dogs. So that'll be another segment that we'll keep up with every week with the show. But as far as the first episode goes, our little revised version, Kyle, do you have anything else to add before we wrap up today's show?
Not really. I'm excited for the home opener tonight. Again, thank you to the Ice Dogs organization for bringing us on and allowing us to sit in the press box and do our thing for our podcast. And I'm excited for the rest of the season. And I'm excited to get this podcast out to you guys. I know there's a lot of Ice Dog fans in our region. It's a really popular hockey team around here, so I'm glad that they have maybe somewhere to turn to for their Ice Dog knowledge.
Yep, and I'm looking forward to bringing you guys, we don't really have a lot of Ice Dog coverage, unfortunately, right now. So we're hoping to kind of bring you guys a different side of it by some sports fans.
It's not a lot out there, right? Ice Dog's a very minimal, news coverage, right? The TV Coach Go show is not a thing anymore, and other than their social media, there's not really anyone doing this. So it's a good opportunity for us as well. Yeah. I do want to make some Armchair GM's notes here for you guys wanting to listen on the go. Not only are we available on iTunes, which is now labeled as Apple Podcasts, and Spotify, we are now available on iHeartRadio, Google Podcast, and CastBox. So we're available on a little bit more than just your average platform. So we are expanding. So available right now, any podcast within the Armchair GM Sports Network is now being distributed not only to Spreaker, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, but to also iHeartRadio, Google Podcast, and CastBox. So we are definitely expanding.
That's great. So you have no excuses to say that you cannot listen to us on any of those different platforms.
Exactly. And I know iHeartRadio is a very popular app, and it's becoming a very podcast popular app. I've seen a lot of ads for it. So for us to be on iHeartRadio is pretty big as well.
Yep. So we'll continue to bring you coverage all season long for the Ice Dogs when we can get it to you guys, and we're looking forward to this new project. And again, like we said, it's kind of a new thing for the Ice Dogs. We don't really have a lot besides the stuff that goes on 610 CKTB AM radio. There really isn't a lot, and like you said, your TV. There isn't really a lot, getting out to the mass public. So we're hoping that we can be that source for you guys out there. The more people and the more traction that we can get is greatly appreciated, and we'll continue to build the network, not just for the Ice Dogs, which is a major portion of the show, but also for our hockey coverage, our football coverage, and all the other sports that we're going to cover on this network.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So, Kyle, we're getting almost to that time here, about just under 2 hours until game time. So, I think we got to wrap this up and get going.
Yep.
Yeah,
I think so too.
All right. So, thank you very much to everybody for tuning in to the first episode of the Dog Pound Niagara Ice Dogs podcast, right here on the Armchair GM Sports Network. Your source for North American sports coverage by sports fans for sports fans, delivered to you right here in the Niagara region. As always, I am one of your hosts of the show. You can follow me on Twitter at Capoots13 with a Canadian Z. My name is Brandon / Cappy, whatever you want to call me. You can call me many different things. And all the links on how you can follow us will be in the description below of this video, on whichever platform you're listening to us right now. As Kyle discussed, we're on about 7 or 8 different platforms, so you better listen. And thanks again to my co-host Kyle. You can follow him on Twitter at JustKyle51.
Just Kyle.
At Just Kyle. He's Just Kyle.
Just that's it. Nothing special.
It's
just Kyle.
He's Just Kyle. And a big thank you to all of our great sponsors that help put us on and support the network to keep the show on the air. And finally, to you viewers out there for tuning in and listening along with us for the first episode of many of the Dog Pound podcast on the Armchair GM Sports Network, your Niagara Ice Dogs game day recap and news and notes podcast. And this has been your September 26th edition right here on the Armchair GM Sports Network by sports fans for sports fans. We'll see you next time. #
Bye.
Go Dogs Go.
Woo!